There's something nobody told you about manifestation, something that makes all the difference yet almost everyone misses. It's this: the moment you want something, you begin to push it away. Not because desire is bad, not because the universe is punishing you, but because wanting, in vibrational terms, is a signal of separation. It tells the quantum field, this reality is not mine. It emits a frequency of lack, and the field, being perfectly coherent, mirrors that frequency back to you. You might be visualizing your dream life, speaking affirmations, even feeling inspired. But if your energy is still rooted in desire, if the internal signal is, I don't have it yet, then the field hears that as your truth, and that's exactly what it continues to reflect, the experience of not having. This is the invisible trap that keeps so many stuck. They're not failing to manifest because they're doing something wrong. They're failing because they're still vibrating from the place of wanting, rather than being. Wanting is subtle. It hides in your goals, your affirmations, even your prayers. You say you want love. You say you want abundance. But the energy behind those words often screams, it's missing. And so the field, which responds not to your words, but to your vibration, gives you more of that signal. Now, here's the shift, and it changes everything. The quantum field doesn't need your desire.
It needs your coherence. It needs your alignment with the version of you who already lives the life you're trying to call in. And that version of you does not want. That version of you has. So how do you bridge the gap? Let's break this down in quantum terms. The field is a sea of infinite probabilities. Every version of you, the one who's struggling, the one who's thriving, the one who's deeply aligned, already exists. These are not fantasies. They are frequencies. And the observer, you, collapses one of those probabilities into reality based on the signal you emit. When you say, I want to be confident, the field hears, I am not confident. When you say, I want more money, the field hears, I am lacking. Your desire, however noble, is encoded with absence, and that encoding becomes your energetic signature. This is why so many spiritual teachers and quantum thinkers, from Neville Goddard to Joe Dispenza, emphasize feeling the wish fulfilled. Not hoping, not wishing, but being the version of yourself who already lives in that reality. Because only then does the field respond with the evidence you've been waiting for. Let's be clear, this isn't about pretending. It's not about faking confidence or acting like you don't care. It's about shifting the place you operate from. You're no longer moving toward the thing. You're moving as the version of you who already has it. And that distinction, that vibrational posture, is everything. When you stop wanting, you stop emitting the signal of absence. You stop reinforcing the story of not enough, and you begin transmitting a new frequency: presence, certainty, embodiment. That's when reality begins to bend. That's when manifestations start showing up, not as sudden miracles, but as natural reflections of your new state of being. In the next part, we'll explore why wanting, even in its most spiritual disguise, still keeps you locked in the old timeline, and we'll begin to dismantle the subtle ways desire disguises itself as alignment.
Because when you understand what's really happening vibrationally, you'll stop chasing, you'll start choosing, and the field will follow. So now you know that wanting creates separation. But here's the part that's even more subtle and even more important. The energy of wanting often disguises itself as ambition, as clarity, even as spiritual alignment. But vibrationally, it's still rooted in lack. It still tells the field, I'm not there yet. Let's be honest, most of us were trained to want. Society taught us that wanting is the first step to achievement. Set goals, stay hungry, keep chasing the next thing. But in the quantum world, this approach is fundamentally flawed. Why? Because the quantum field does not respond to your goals. It responds to your state, your vibrational identity. And your identity, moment by moment, is either broadcasting, "I have it," or "I lack it." There's no in between. Wanting is an energetic loop. The more you want, the more you reinforce the idea that what you desire is separate from you, and that keeps it suspended in the field, just out of reach. It's like tuning a radio to 88.5 FM and expecting to hear the music playing on 106.7. You can wish, you can pray, you can scream your intentions into the sky, but the signal won't match because the frequency isn't aligned. Here's where science meets spirit. In quantum mechanics, there's a concept known as superposition. It tells us that all possible states of a system exist simultaneously until an observer collapses one of them into reality. This means that every version of your life already exists in the field. The wealthy you, the loved you, the confident, peaceful, radiant you, they're all there waiting. But which version becomes real is determined by your observation, and more importantly, by your emotionally charged perception. If you keep observing your life through the lens of, "I don't have it yet," you keep collapsing the timeline where you don't. This is why people say nothing ever changes, not because the possibilities aren't there, but because the observer hasn't shifted. Wanting also activates survival energy. Think about it. When you want something badly, what does your body feel? Tension, contraction, pressure.
Those are incoherent states. They signal your nervous system that you're unsafe and your field becomes fragmented. But when you enter the frequency of having, even if it's just in your imagination, your body relaxes, your breath slows, your heart opens. That's the moment your field becomes coherent, and that's when manifestation truly begins. Let's break this down into lived experience. You might be saying affirmations like, "I want to attract love," but underneath there's an emotional residue of loneliness, and that loneliness is the real signal. Or maybe you're visualizing financial freedom, but your dominant emotional state is fear. That fear is what the field organizes around. It's not punishing you, it's mirroring you because it's intelligent, it's precise, it's a perfect feedback loop of your frequency. And here's the kicker. You can't out-affirm or out-visualize a frequency that's rooted in lack. You can't override the field with surface-level practices. You have to shift the baseline, the felt experience of being the version of you who already lives that reality. This is where many people get stuck. They think, if I let go of wanting, won't I lose my drive? Won't I stop growing? But that's a fear born from ego, not essence. Your higher self doesn't operate from lack. It operates from knowing. And knowing is far more powerful than wanting. When you shift from "I want to" "I already have," your actions become cleaner. Your decisions become more intuitive. You're no longer pushing or forcing. You're magnetizing. You're choosing from alignment, not from lack. And that's when everything accelerates, because you've become a clear signal in a noisy field. In the next part, we'll explore exactly how to make this shift, how to shift from "I want to" "I already have," using a simple daily practice that activates coherence in your body, clarity in your mind, and alignment in your field. Because this isn't about pretending, it's about tuning, and when the signal changes, so does the world around you.
So how do you actually do it? How do you shift from "I want" to "I already have"? How do you embody a state of being that your five senses might still deny? The answer is both simple and radical. You train your body to believe what your mind cannot yet see. You anchor a new vibrational reality through coherence, not through thought, but through experience. Because the field responds not to your affirmations, but to your emotional state. And the fastest way to change that state is through your physiology. Let's begin with breath. Breath is the bridge. It's the most direct way to shift your electromagnetic field. When you breathe shallow and fast, you activate survival. Your signal becomes chaotic, focused on threats and lack. But when you breathe deep and slow, especially into your heart, you create a measurable state of coherence. Your brain waves slow down, your heart rhythm synchronizes, your body enters a state of receivership, and in that space, the new signal begins to broadcast. Start your morning like this. Before you open your phone, before you check your to-do list, sit quietly. Place one hand over your heart. Breathe in slowly for 5 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Repeat this for at least 3 minutes. As you breathe, gently bring into your awareness the version of you who already has what you've been wanting. Don't think about them, feel them. Imagine how they move, how they breathe, what emotions live in their body, what decisions they make. Let that version of you become vivid, not in your mind, but in your nervous system. Then ask yourself, what does it feel like to already have it? Not what does it look like, what does it feel like? Is it peace? Is it confidence? Is it joy? Let that emotion rise, even if it feels subtle or artificial at first. Your job isn't to perform it.
Your job is to generate it, to practice it, to let your body rehearse that new signal over and over until it becomes familiar. Because what's familiar to your body becomes reality to your field. This is how you reverse the loop. This is how you teach your system to stop waiting for evidence and start becoming the evidence. You're no longer reacting to the external world, you're informing it. You're collapsing the version of you that needed proof and stepping into the identity that broadcasts certainty. And don't worry if it doesn't feel real right away. That's not a failure. That's simply your old programming, your body's addiction to the familiar vibration of lack dissolving. Stay with it. Keep breathing. Keep feeling. Over time, the signal strengthens. And as it does, you'll start noticing tiny shifts in your environment. People respond differently. Opportunities open. Ideas flow. You're not trying to make it happen anymore, you're letting it match. To deepen this practice, add movement. Once you finish the breath work, stand up and move as if you're already the version of yourself who has it. Walk with their posture, speak with their tone, make decisions from their mindset.
This might feel strange at first, but it's deeply effective because every choice you make from that energy becomes a vote for that timeline. And every time you do it, the field adjusts. You're no longer visualizing your future, you're rehearsing your new reality. Not once, not twice, but consistently. That's what rewires the system. That's what stabilizes the frequency. You're collapsing the wave of possibility into the particle of lived experience. And here's something powerful. The more often you do this, the less you'll feel like you're pretending. The gap between who you are and who you're becoming begins to dissolve. You'll feel more natural, more fluid, more aligned, and eventually what once felt like imagination will feel like memory because your body and your field now recognize it as familiar. And the field always delivers what is most coherent with your internal environment. In the next part, we'll take this even deeper. We'll explore how to maintain this vibrational shift throughout your day, how to stop slipping back into lack, and how to live in the frequency of, I already have it, even when nothing outside has changed yet. Because that's where the real magic happens, not when the world confirms your new identity, but when you do. The real test of manifestation doesn't happen during your morning ritual. It happens in traffic, in a conversation that triggers you, in the moment when the bank account still shows lack, or when someone challenges your sense of worth. That's when the frequency is either stabilized or forgotten. The version of you that already has it doesn't panic when things don't look right. It doesn't rush to fix or control because it's not attached to evidence. It knows the field responds to consistency, not intensity, and so it stays steady. That's your next step, to hold the signal through contrast, to walk into your current circumstances as the observer, not the reactor, to stop using your environment as permission to shift and start using your vibration as the cause of what comes next. So how do you do that? It starts with micro moments. You catch the old signal, the thought, the emotion, the posture, and you pause. You breathe, and you ask, is this the vibration of someone who already has it? If it's not, you don't judge. You recalibrate. You choose again. That's the discipline of frequency, not rigidity. Return. You return over and over to the state you committed to, and every return rewires your identity. That's when you become magnetic, not because you're trying to pull things toward you, but because you're no longer pushing them away.
Start noticing your posture. Is your body collapsed or open? Your breath, is it shallow or deep? Your words, are they affirming lack or confirming alignment? The version of you who already has it moves differently, thinks differently, listens differently, not with effort, with embodiment. They're not checking the outside world for confirmation. They're living the inner world as if it's already real. And guess what? That's when the external begins to shift. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became a match for it. Let's make this real right now. Comment below, not as a habit, not as an algorithm trick, but as a declaration of your new identity. Comment, I already have it. Feel what happens when you write those words. Let your fingers transmit the frequency. Let your field hear the signal. I already have it. This is not a gimmick, it's a collapse. A moment where the invisible becomes visible, where the internal becomes external, where the timeline begins to crystallize. And when others read your comment, they feel it too. Because we're not just commenting on a video, we're calibrating a collective field, a vortex of alignment, a resonance of receivership. This is the paradox. The more you embody, I already have it, the less you need to chase. And the less you chase, the more comes naturally, effortlessly, coherently. Because now the field isn't hearing contradiction, it's hearing clarity. And the field, like all intelligent systems, responds to clarity. So let this be your new baseline. You're no longer trying to manifest. You're no longer reaching. You're radiating. You've stopped reinforcing absence. You've become the evidence of the presence. In the next part, we'll explore the signs that this shift is working, the energetic confirmations, the synchronicities, the subtle changes that tell you the field is aligning, reality is reorganizing, and you're no longer wanting, you're receiving. You've stopped chasing.
You've tuned in. You've shifted the frequency from lack to embodiment. Now the field begins to respond, not instantly, but unmistakably. And when it does, it speaks in the language most people miss: energy, timing, subtle rearrangements of the ordinary. But to the aligned, these signs are loud and clear. They whisper, you're no longer vibrating from want, you're receiving from being. The first sign is not something you see, it's something you feel. A strange kind of calm enters your system. You're not numb, you're not passive, you're just grounded. The inner noise quiets. You stop scanning your environment for proof. You stop trying to convince life to deliver. Why? Because your nervous system finally believes it's already done. That's powerful. It means the signal is stabilizing, and coherence is the first indicator that your manifestation is collapsing into form. Then synchronicities begin to increase, but not in dramatic fireworks, more like gentle nudges. You think of someone, and they message you. You speak a desire, and a related opportunity appears. You release control and receive an insight you've been missing for months. These are not coincidences. They are harmonics. The field is tuning itself around your new state of being. Another sign, resistance begins to fade. That conversation you've been avoiding, suddenly it feels easier. That problem that felt heavy, suddenly it's solvable. Your environment hasn't changed drastically, but your relationship to it has. That's the field reorganizing in response to your coherence. And once again, not because you forced anything, but because you stopped vibrating against it. You may also notice that time feels different. You're less anxious about the future, less tangled in the past. The now feels more full. You're not distracted, you're present. And presence is the signature of the already have frequency. It doesn't live in projection, it lives in experience. This is what people miss about quantum manifestation. It doesn't always begin with outer changes. It begins with subtle energetic rewirings, the kind you can only notice when you're feeling instead of waiting.
You'll also start making decisions differently. Not from fear, not from pressure, but from resonance. You say yes to things that match your new timeline. You say no to things that reinforce the old one. And with every aligned choice, you anchor the version of you that has already received. This builds momentum. This creates the click moments where everything starts flowing. Then something wild happens. People start treating you differently. They mirror your new signal. They don't know why, but they feel something. That's the field reflecting coherence. That's the reality recognizing a new observer. You also stop arguing with what is. Even when things look delayed, you don't spiral, you don't panic, because deep down, you know the process is already unfolding. You trust the field, not conceptually, viscerally. And that trust magnetizes more trust, more flow, more ease. Here's a big one: emotional detachment. Not apathy, alignment. You stop obsessing, you stop overchecking, you stop monitoring your manifestation like a package that's late. Why? Because the version of you who already has it isn't worried. And when you stop worrying, the timeline collapses faster. Why? Because now your energy is clean, and clean energy is efficient energy. So if you're seeing these signs, even subtly, you're in it. The shift has begun, and the field has heard you. Not because of what you said, but because of what you became. In the final chapter, we'll seal this journey with a transmission, a simple closing ritual to reinforce this frequency into your field and to ensure this isn't just a temporary shift, but the new default from which your reality emerges. Because this is not about one manifestation, it's about becoming a new signal permanently. You've made the shift, not because you forced it, not because you hoped hard enough, but because you remembered what's already true. That the version of you who has it, who lives it, who is it, has always been there, waiting, broadcasting, ready to be received. Now it's time to seal that frequency, to anchor it in the body, because the field is listening and it responds to repetition, resonance, and embodiment. So let's close this journey not with more information, but with integration. Find a quiet place. Sit. Place your hand over your heart. Let your breath slow. Feel the ground beneath you. Then bring to mind the version of you who no longer wants, the version who has already received, the version who radiates certainty, completion, peace. Don't try to imagine the perfect scene, just tune into the feeling. I already have it. Let it rise from your chest. Let it hum in your breath. Let it live in your posture. If doubt shows up, that's okay. Smile at it. Breathe again. Return.
Because returning is the art. And every time you return, you reinforce. Now speak softly, inwardly, or aloud, the phrase that holds the frequency. I already have it. Say it again. I already have it. Let those words vibrate through your entire system. Let them inform yourselves. Let them ripple into your field. Because this isn't just a mantra, it's a reprogramming code. It's the signature of your new timeline. And from this place, there's nothing left to force, nothing left to prove. You don't need signs. You don't need validation. You are the evidence. You are the shift. This is the difference between hoping for a better life and choosing one. between waiting for reality to change and becoming the frequency that commands it. So take this into your day, into your choices, into your breath. Don't just practice it once, live it. Let it show in how you speak, in how you respond, in how you trust. Let your life become the transmission. Let your energy walk into rooms before your words ever do. And remember, every time you feel yourself slipping back into want, you're just one breath away from returning. You're just one phrase away from remembering, I already have it. Let this be your calibration point, your energetic home. And when you need to return to this field, this frequency, this knowing, we'll be right here. Because this isn't just a video, it's a space, a resonance, a community of observers collapsing a new timeline together. If this journey activated something in you, if the vibration felt like home, subscribe, align, join the field.